If you wanna find me, yeah, I'm in the front row. With my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front. The best place to be, yeah, I'm in the front row. Best place to be, yeah. If you wanna find me, yo, I'm in the front row. With my 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, yeah, I'm in the.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the In the Front Row YouTube channel. We are excited to be back. A lot of sports action is happening. I'm Dylan. I have Fredo alongside with me. Shireen, unfortunately, isn't here, but she will be here next time. And we have a special guest with us, Fredo, to bring into the ringer. Like I said last video, he thinks he's a walking sports knowledge. My brother Dustin is joining the show again. I know Fredo has a lot of words to say to him and me.
I'm ready.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I can't wait.
We will get to that, but
I was looking good for a day, but that's about it.
Yeah, it was a good day. It was a good day, but still, I mean, we'll talk about that soon.
We will get into it. We have a lot to discuss over the show, but first, we do want to start. This is a sports show, but we do want to start with news that shook the nation this past week. Yesterday, Jacob Blake's video was released of his shooting, being shot in the back 7 times by cops. I believe there were 3 cops on the scene, if I'm reporting correctly. Yes. Blake was shot in front of his children and fiance. He was getting out of the car, I think, allegedly to break up a fight. Yep. And it's news that a lot of athletes are speaking on, a lot of people across the world are speaking on. And guys, once again, we have a police shooting that is unnecessary. And it's been a tough 24 hours for a lot of people, so I want to talk to you guys about this real quickly. Fredo, your reaction when you saw the unfortunate video?
Yeah, I actually got a chance to look into that earlier today, and saw a quick footage, and been seeing the reaction all over the world, especially with LeBron. His big message he had late post game yesterday, and just seeing how, I'm personally not, an African American in this country. I am a minority, but I cannot believe the fear that, these people got to live through every single day. And, it sucks to say, but it's honestly, I'm not sure how things will ever change because it continues to happen. It apparently marked, I guess the exact 3 months since, George Floyd, I think the other day as well, the same day of that shooting, it was like the anniversary, the 3-month click of, the George Floyd situation. But, it's devastating, man, to kind of see these kind of things happen. But honestly, the question that everyone has is like, how can we stop this? And honestly, I don't know, because, we can do everything we've possibly been doing for the past few months, but again, it just happened all over again. And it's not going to be the last time. We're going to be talking about another situation that might happen in 3 weeks from now, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? But honestly, I'm just shocked at the things that go on in this world nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough to see these things happen over and over again, like you were saying. The toughest part for me, and you mentioned this, I don't know what it's like to be an African American. I don't know what it's like to live in fear. Basically walking down the street or walking back to your car, and next thing you know, your life changes, because he is in critical condition, and obviously we're praying for his family and him, for him to survive and everything. But I don't know what it's like to, like I was saying, I don't know what it's like to walk down the street or maybe even one day in the future explain to my kids, hey, be scared of these people, because they don't. I'm just gonna put it out there, they don't know what they're doing. Can we be honest? I just think it's ridiculous what goes on in this country over and over again.
You're saying cops don't?
Yes, cops. Let me make that clear. Yeah. They don't know what they're doing. Like, I'm just gonna put that out there. And obviously, there's good cops, but it doesn't seem like there's too many of them left. The one way we can change it, I know you're gonna bring this up, but the one way we can change it is vote. And that's all you can do when it comes November. So, obviously, we encourage everybody to vote. And yeah, I'll just keep it at that.
It's devastating, and I know. Honestly, it made me lose sleep last night. I knew we were taping today, and I was like, what do I say? How do I how do I react to this? And really, enough is enough. And I mean, honestly, I'm at a loss for words at this one. I know Shireen and I a while back did a special about Black Lives Matter and the movement and how you can help and our thoughts. That's when the whole Bubba Wallace situation happened and a lot of things were resurfacing with Colin Kaepernick when the protests were going on. But it's like you wake up to another devastating and for it to happen in front of his children. They have to grow up seeing their father be shot 7 times. And I don't care what you say, it was undeserved. It was, I don't think he was committing any criminal acts that I know of.
No, he wasn't.
It was.
He was breaking up a fight.
Yeah, it was.
And that part right there, that part.
And also, I do want to say, if people are committing, I mean, luckily, I don't want to take that far. But luckily, he is surviving for now. I know he's in critical condition. I'm praying that he survives, and we're gonna hear. Hopefully,
I want to say one more thing. I saw something on Twitter. I don't remember who tweeted it. Whoever tweeted this, it was a good tweet. They said basically cops fear African American people who are suspected to have a gun. They fear them more than when they know a white person has a gun. Isn't that crazy to think about? Like, like they fear a black man walking into his, or obviously getting back into his car because I mean, I don't know if he had one or not. It shouldn't matter. But they fear him getting back into his car because they feel unsafe, if you want to say, which is total bullshit. And they basically fear that more than when they know what a white man has a gun in their car. It's just crazy to think about.
It's what I was going to say is it is devastating when you wake up to the news, and especially it happened in front of his children. Hopefully he will survive and be able to move forward, but it's still going to be stuck in back here. And if there's 3 cops in a situation, there's no way a gun needs to be pulled.
Nope.
And also, I don't want to take it to this level. I know it's a human rights issue. And like I said, we have to vote come November. Yes. But speaking of voting, I'm not saying, I'm just going to say it. Our president didn't even speak on the matter of the tragedy. I don't think he tweeted anything about it. And for somebody who has Twitter fingers, you think he would say something on the tragedy. He, for as far as I know, and you can comment if I'm wrong, I haven't heard him, and that's to me another example of
something that
of leadership. Yeah, and for me, I think moving forward, it's devastating. Enough is enough, and racial profiling needs to stop in this country. Police brutality needs to stop in this country, and moving forward, we need to vote. We need to get the right people into office all the way down to the county level to attempt to make change. I know we still have a far way to go in this country. Like Fredo said, you keep seeing these shootings pop up and these police brutality incidents pop up. And that's what we're protesting for. It's just, I know we don't want to spend all.
Well, there was something, just real quick. There was something that happened I think it was actually in California, where it was Buffalo Wild Wings, I want to say, where the manager called the cops on a homeless guy because he was attacking 2 kids at a train station, and it ended up being they had the 2 African American kids at gunpoint because they took a sip of alcohol. Explain that one to me. Like, they caught the 2 kids; they were underage. You can go to Donovan Mitchell's Twitter because he subtweeted and said something about it. They basically had the 2 I think they were teenagers at gunpoint, and the manager even walked to the police officers and she's like, "Hey, I didn't call the cops on them. I called the cops on the homeless man who was attacking them," and they just wouldn't listen to her. It's just, at this point, to me, it's ridiculous.
And remember, Black Lives Matter is a human rights issue, and I keep going back to that. So, guys, continue to sign petitions, continue to donate if you can, continue to educate yourself as we continue to fight the issue in this country. We do want to talk about sports, but here at the NFL, we do send our prayers out to the family, to him, and anyone that has been impacted by police brutality and racial profiling. We send our prayers to you. Guys, on a lighter note, we're going to attack the NBA because a lot has been going on in the first round of the NBA playoffs, and we are going to start right here locally in Los Angeles. The Lakers, with a convincing Game 4 win, took a 3-1 series lead over the Portland Trailblazers. I know Fredo has a lot to say about this. We saw playoff LeBron come out So, Fredo, your reaction to the Lakers' big Game 4 win?
So, guys, for a second, I'm confused. Who's who? I have Dylan on my right, I have Dustin on my left, but this is the perfect combination that I can get right now because I remember last week when we were filming, we were talking about, the possible series. I know, the back and forth on Twitter, talking about the Portland, Trailblazers, everybody. And then believe it or not, guys, it wasn't just both of you two. There was a lot of other people all over the world going on the Damian Lillard train. And this train, something happened to the train. I don't know what happened to it. It literally broke down because apparently he's out for Game 5 tomorrow. So the Portland Trailblazers will be playing without Damian Lillard, guys. And I know it's kind of funny for both of you two right now, but just stop for a second. And Dustin, you brought up a good point. You're like, damn, I was right for one day. And yeah, you were right for about one day because that Tuesday game, and it actually, again, happy late birthday for both of you because I know you guys were celebrating that game on your birthday. You guys were watching it. You guys were probably a little, over the alcohol limit, but it's all good.
Never.
You guys enjoyed a great game. You guys had a great night. But guess what, guys? Today is Tuesday, 7 days ago from that day, and now the Lakers lead the series 3-1. Amazing play overall, great defense by the Lakers, and technically LeBron just said to everybody in the world, including both of you two, hey guys, I'm still the greatest on the game right now. I'm still the greatest on this planet, and no disrespect to Kevin Durant because Kevin Durant is no joke. He's arguably was the best before his injury came along. But right now, at age 35, guys, really? You guys just turned how old? 24? 25? 24? Come on, this guy's 35 years fucking old, man. Like, this guy is incredible. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
He's gonna shock the world this year. He shocked the world in 2016. When he came back 3-1, I'm not saying he might lose 3-1 right now because Damian Lillard's out. But I guarantee you, they're going to make it to the finals. They're going to win the finals. And there's going to be no more of this talk of saying Jordan is the greatest of all time. Because after LeBron wins this year, LeBron is the greatest of all time. I'm telling you right now. And I wish I can see Paul Pierce right now because I'll slap the crap out of him for saying what he said about LeBron James. Oh, if he loses in the first round, oh, he's no longer in the conversation. You better shut the hell up with that because you cannot stop and say that everything he did beforehand is eliminated. And just because he lost in the first round, which he's on the verge of not losing in the first round, and I just think that everyone just goes against James. But I know we're going to talk about pandemic Paul George sooner than later, so I got a lot more to say about that one.
I'll start with this. I've always said LeBron's the greatest of all time. You can look on the last YouTube show we did, so you can't accuse me of that one. I think LeBron's the greatest of all time, no matter if he wins this year or not. Second of all, I'm just going to make this statement. I know it's going to drive you a little crazy.
Hold on, let me put my seatbelt on.
Yeah. Portland was 1-0 in this series with a healthy Damian Lillard, and once Damian Lillard
don't bring that.
I'm just making that statement. But let me get to what I actually want to say. I was wrong. I think this is tough. I always bet against pride. I know I'm trying to swallow my pride right now. I always bet against playoff LeBron. I don't know why. Like I said, he's the greatest to ever do it. I should never doubt him. In Game 3 is when that series turned to me. Obviously, Game 2 was a blowout, so it didn't really matter. It was an even series. Game 3, fourth quarter is when that series took it. Is when Portland needed to ramp it up and become the better team, which clearly they were not. And when they hit that fourth quarter, and LeBron and AD, just mainly AD, can we give Anthony Davis credit? They took over in that fourth quarter. Game 3 took a 2-1 series lead. And I kind of knew the series was over then, just because I was like, oh, like the momentum's done for Portland. They need to win Game 3. I told Dylan before the game, Game 3, that Portland was in a must-win game, Game 3. I thought that was more important. And then, I mean, LeBron's the man. I hate this. I love LeBron. I respect him for more than basketball, but I love LeBron. And yeah, I've always said he's the greatest of all time, and I would say I was wrong.
Yeah, okay. That's what I wanted to hear.
All right. It was a sexy pick to go with Portland. Come on, you can't.
Hey, but you know, of course, next over there on the left-hand side, who's next over there?
Okay, I need 30 seconds. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Take your time.
I was in a conversation the other day with Fredo and Shireen about this series when the Lakers put up a big offensive half in Game 4, and I promised them I would do an on-air apology. So, LeBron James, the Lakers, look here. I am sorry that I doubted playoff LeBron James to lead the Lakers over the Blazers. I told you in my defense, I did tell you I was swaying back and forth. I really didn't know who to pick, not making my actions correct. But I did not know who to pick between the Lakers and Blazers. I thought it would be a much more even series. I thought the Blazers were a little deeper and it could have helped them. But I don't know why I doubted playoff LeBron James.
I don't either.
Especially in the first round of the playoffs. And Portland last year was also the sexy
Big
pick to pull out a big upset against the Warriors. They failed to do that. So this year, and I should have known I was screwed when Charles Barkley picked the Blazers over the Lakers. I should have known it was a wrap, and I should have gone with the Lakers. But I will say this, especially with Damian Lillard out in Game 5.
Oh, it's over.
This series is
It's
over.
a wrap. Yeah.
It is.
Well, hey, no, okay. That's what I don't like. Don't say that. Okay, now that Damian Lillard's out,
wait,
the
hold
series is over.
hold on. I think with Damian Lillard in the lineup, the Lakers would have won Game 5. I think the series is over. I'm just saying, especially with that factor, the series is over. If Damian Lillard was in the lineup for Game 5, I still think this
wouldn't make a difference.
It would be a wrap. I thought Portland needed to win Game 3.
Yeah.
I thought, and then they needed to win Game 4 to make the series even. Falling behind 3-1 is very difficult to come back in the NBA, especially falling behind 3-1 to LeBron James, who will willfully lead his team over Portland, and he has
the best of all time.
17 years of experience, and I don't know why. And they will win in round 2. I'll put an early prediction out there.
They're gonna win in round 2.
I'm not picking against LeBron James.
They're gonna lose to the Clippers, so we can talk about that later.
Wait, don't see it starts now. You know, it starts.
I didn't say that.
I've said that all year.
Anyway, we are looking forward to Game 5, which is tomorrow night. The Lakers look to beat or knock the Blazers out of the playoffs.
Do they really have to play?
To the second round? I don't know why. Especially because I want to do a wine video with LeBron James. We've been saying this months on the show. I don't know why I doubted him. I went down to the wire and I went with.
You know what? I'm going to remind LeBron. I'm like, you know what? They counted you out in the first round. Can you believe that, LeBron? Because LeBron James has never been eliminated in the first round. You know, I know we were talking about Michael Jordan in the GOAT, but Michael Jordan got eliminated 3 times in the first round.
This series did not live up to the hype that it was supposed to. But
he's been hurt the whole time.
A series that has gone
Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard's been hurt the whole time since Game 2.
It's Game 2, but as you see, I'll have to look at what Luka did after he got that.
That's what we're going to move on to, guys. The Lakers
ball up.
Game
Step
5
up. Lace them up.
Tomorrow.
Can I say one more thing? It's a quick statement. Damian Lillard is better than Luka. I'll just say it. Keep going.
Hey, wait. Stop.
No.
Hey, what?
Keep going, Anyway.
Wait, no, don't anyway. That we're not just gonna let him say that Damian Lillard is
producers
better than
Luka
Luka
Doncic.
Doncic.
Kill me for moving on.
We can discuss Luka in this next segment.
We can. We're gonna introduce the segment. I guess.
Dustin,
off every time Dustin comes on our show, we go off the wagon. Guys.
Wow, whoa. Because some crazy stuff comes out of Dustin's
I'm trying to
mouth.
bring it back in here. The Clippers and the Mavericks are in a very exciting series. The Clippers recently just took a 3-2 lead as we're taping in the series by a blowout win in Game 5. But after Game 4, it did not look so promising, especially with the disappearance of Paul George until Game 5. So, guys, I want to get your reaction now that the Clippers have won Game 5. Your reaction in the series, is it over?
I actually, I'm about to release an article right now on this game right now. And one of the main points that I put in this article was that Luka and the Mavs do not have a chance without Kristaps Porzingis being back in the lineup. Kristaps Porzingis missed his second game in a row after, having some right knee soreness, which, having some knee problems, especially for Kristaps Porzingis, who's had problems in the past before, is not so easy. But without him on the lineup, Clippers will win this in 6, which is the next game coming up. But if Porzingis comes up, or if Luka one way or another finds a way to win a game 6 without Porzingis, then maybe if Porzingis comes in game 7, they might take it. But I have a feeling that Luka, because this man right there on my side of the screen just said that Damian Lillard is better than Luka Doncic. You are crazy.
Yeah, I agree.
I understand Damian Lillard has been in the league for 7 years. Got eliminated. He's about to get 3 years in a row. Every year he's been eliminated. He hasn't really made it so far besides last year. But I can't believe that you just said that he's better than Luka Doncic. He does not get his teammates involved like Luka Doncic. He does not have the size like Luka Doncic. He doesn't have just the footwork. I mean, the footwork that this kid does, I mean, it's amazing what this guy does. And they both hit clutch shots. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah. And can we remember Luka Doncic, is 21 years old, I believe, correct?
yeah, come on.
Very young, and he's already put a number on this league. If you watch the end of Game 4, whenever Luka needed a basket for Dallas, he went straight to the lane and got a basket, and then obviously he had that viral game-winning shot in Game 4 to even the series. I have to take Fredo's side on this. In regards to the series, Game 5 was huge for Paul George. I think it's now he has the momentum back. He had a decent Game 1. I believe he scored 21 points or so. Yeah. 21 or 27. I don't remember the exact number.
I think 27.
Yeah, in Game 1. And then he kind of had a slump the past 3 games with under 15-point performances. And finally, tonight, he showed up. And he showed up in the best way. The other thing the Clippers did well was play better defense. And we've seen all series – except, games 2 through 4, I should say, more specifically, Dallas has gotten their way offensively. Dallas is not a team that the Clippers wanted to come in and try to run with. They are too talented of an offensive team. They contend, I know this is going to be crazy, but statistics back it up. They contend for one of the most efficient teams in NBA history. And I know that has a lot to do with Porzingis. Yes. Okay. And so the Clippers coming in and trying to run with them, games 2 through 4, Doc Rivers, I've released an article today about the Clippers' keys for Game 5. Doc Rivers even said in the post-game conference that the Clippers, basically to paraphrase it, are supposed to be an elite defense. He hasn't seen it in the past 2 games. He said he called his team very emotionally weak. He also said his defense was very passive, especially, and then he had an issue with the Clippers switching on the last play of the game where Doncic hit that big shot over Reggie Jackson. He went to Kawhi to guard him. So Doc Rivers called out his team, and his team responded to the adversity. The Clippers have been through adversity all year with chemistry issues that have been reported all year. Kawhi's been saying they haven't peaked yet, but they looked good tonight playing in Game 5. And I am on Fredo's side with being better than Lillard. I'm also on Fredo's side with I think this series is over in 6 games. I think as an underdog, it's difficult when you go behind late in a series, especially with a team talented like the Clippers. Now you have to win 2 games in a row. And I think that's going to be very difficult, especially when you have a lot of playoff experience on the Clippers. Guys, remember, the Clippers haven't been out of the first round in 5 years.
Well, they're franchise.
Yeah, their franchise hasn't. So it was huge for the Clippers to win tonight's game and set them up for Game 6.
They also have never had a guy like Kawhi Leonard in the
agreed.
But let's speak on the Clippers first. I've said it since the beginning of the year. I think the Clippers are going to win the whole thing. So I think they win in Game 6. To me, it wasn't even a must-win tonight for the Clippers. I'm being honest. It was a good win. Obviously, it's better to be up 3-2 than down 3-2. Paul George, people forget about Paul George. And honestly, if Paul George is going to struggle in the playoffs, you would want it to be the first round. So I don't mind. I was never worried. People forget about what Paul George did back in Indiana. People forget what he did in Oklahoma City. Just because, Russell Westbrook can't get out of the first round. You can't blame my man, Paul George. And
you were really throwing shade tonight.
I'm just saying. And then, obviously, here in LA, the most effective way, and everyone knows it, the most effective way to win in the NBA is have two elite two-way wings, and that's Paul George and Kawhi. I think they're fine. Paul George, Kawhi, I think, is the best player currently in the NBA. And he's showing.
Seriously, Dustin, what the hell was
You said Kawhi is?
He is.
Did you drink before the show?
Kawhi
Are you still
Leonard
celebrating
is
your
the-
birthday?
Oh, seriously, yeah, man. It's
LeBron
7
James
days,
is
Dustin.
currently the best player
What
in
is
the
LeBron-
NBA.
What,
What has
Dustin?
LeBron done in this current playoffs that Kawhi hasn't?
Willfully lead the Lakers when.
But you could
Look at his dominance. Look
Yeah,
at
look at
what
Kawhi's
he's doing
dominance.
on the court.
Do you see the focus of LeBron James especially in Game 4 when they needed that win in Games 3 and 4?
God,
What
man.
did
LeBron
Kawhi do
showed
tonight?
up.
He willed his team to a. Honestly, there were people
Why,
saying
really?
there were
Really?
people saying
When he
after
walked
Game
away
4,
from
and I can quote.
his game-winning shot. It
No.
wasn't a mistake. He went away from the moment.
He
He
didn't go
shot.
away. No,
It was a team
Wait,
mistake.
it was a team mistake. But can I say that? There were
No,
two
no, it
people-
cannot be a team mistake. A
Wait.
man. And look, let me tell you, when a man like Ron Artest, I was listening to Ron Artest Meta World Peace on the radio yesterday in the morning, and he even mentioned it as a defender. When you're in a moment like that, late in the game, and you're the defender, you're the guy that's gonna put the stop on this guy. You're gonna step in. You're gonna go through any screen. You don't care what the coach says because your mentality as a closer and especially as a defender, you're gonna want to step up your game and defend this guy. This guy, Kawhi, could have gone around the screen, could have swapped. No, F this BS stuff that it was a team defensive problem. My ass, that was a team defensive problem. He tried to win.
Let me continue. I think Kawhi's been as effective. And there were two NBA experts, and I'll name them. Well, two analysts. It was Kenny Smith and Max Kellerman. They both said, let me explain. They both said Dallas won Game 4. Or I think it was actually before Game 4. I think it was what did they win? Game 1 or Game 2? I don't remember.
He won Game 2.
Game 2.
Yeah.
Okay. They both said, Dallas can win the championship in the bubble. So arguably right now, I think that Kawhi and the Clippers are playing a better team than LeBron did because Damian Lillard's been hurt the whole series. Once that's out, then it's done. And
So you're just not gonna count anything that Damian Lillard did it in the restart of the 8 games.
he's hurt.
CJ McCollum was hurt and he still played well.
He's hurt, and also they're both. So they're proving my
Luka's
point.
hurt.
No, but
Luka's hurt. Porzingis is hurt.
But they're both playing. Damian Lillard can't even play tomorrow, and he has 2 separate injuries. CJ McCollum's playing with a fractured back. Can we say that? That's tougher than any injury that.
Oh yeah, he brought that up at the beginning of the series. He's been playing like nothing's wrong with him.
Yeah, but he also has been playing with a fractured back.
Anyway.
Anyone in the NBA would say that Dallas is a better team than Portland.
And
So-
LeBron is playing on the 35-year-old dad body. That's what he's playing
So
in
that's
right
why I also say, if you listen to me, I also say Kawhi is currently the best player in the NBA. LeBron's the best to ever do it. I don't think anyone can argue that. Well, some people do. I don't know why. But
It's a
Kawhi,
legitimate argument, but
it's not. But Kawhi currently, and you'll see after he wins the title this year, and he has 2 titles in a row, and come back to me when we do a final show, he'll have 2 titles in a row. He'll also have 3 championships, 3 MVPs on 3 different teams. How do you argue he wouldn't be the best player in the NBA?
guys, we got Dustin is off the rails tonight. Guys, we have to wrap this NBA conversation up. A lot of NBA still coming our way. There's also a lot of news going on in the NBA. The 76ers made news firing their head coach, Brett Brown, after 7 seasons of duties with the team. They decided to part ways. The 76ers swept by the Celtics in this year's playoffs. Another NBA news, the Jazz and the Nuggets played tonight. The Nuggets stayed alive in Game 5. The Jazz now lead the series 3-2 over Denver. Remember, a few shows back, I said Utah would beat Denver in that series. The winner will play the Clippers and the Mavericks, or the winner of the Clippers and the Mavericks. And then the Lakers and Blazers winner, which will be the Lakers in Game 5. They'll get the Rocket and the Thunder in the Western Conference. The Eastern Conference, I believe, starts their first round tomorrow. The Raptors and the Celtics, that's going to be a very good series. There was some news on that. The Raptors potentially thought of not playing Game 1, but I believe they have made the decision to play, or they haven't at least not made the decision to play yet. I believe they are going to play, but I know it was being reported that it was being waited around as a decision due to the events going on in the country. Guys, coming up, I know Fredo has a little bit of news, so we are going to do the Fredo report and then our shout-outs, so stay tuned. Welcome back, guys, to the In the Front Row YouTube channel. We are going to shift gears. I have Fredo and Dustin here with me. Fredo, it is time for the Fredo Report because a lot has happened with the NBA draft lottery just recently happening. And your guy, LaMelo Ball, we saw you recently wrote an article on the In the Front Row website. Guys, go ahead and check that out now. Fredo, I'm going to hand the floor to you. Your most recent news on what's going on now that NBA draft lottery is sealed. What's going on with LaMelo Ball?
Yeah, so there's a lot. There's a lot going on right now. You know, I've been in communication with a couple people and just kind of listening to certain things on what's going on because when you're expected to be the #1 overall pick and arguably he is the best talent in the draft, there might be other players who might have a different type of skill set that might fit a certain team at the time, which, you know, in this case right now, I believe that a guy like Anthony Edwards might fit with the Golden State Warriors, depending on who goes first. Minnesota is kind of in the need. I mean, Minnesota kind of has it both. They got a big, they got somewhat of a guard in D'Angelo Russell, so they can kind of go either or in that situation, knowing that Minnesota does have the #1 overall pick. But a little noise that I've been hearing right now, and of course, you know, even Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted about that very same day that the #1 overall pick for the Minnesota Timberwolves is very much in talks with other teams. There are open hearing conversations, and two things that I heard. And one of them seems to be very juicy in a way, which is very interesting. And it had to do with what we were just talking about. You know, we were talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, and we were talking about the Portland Trailblazers, which is the team that the Los Angeles Lakers are currently playing right now. And a guy that Dustin talked about, which was Damian Lillard. You know, we had a situation last summer, if you guys all recall, last summer when there was a situation where Damian Lillard was kind of tired of the notes he'd been hearing. You know, people have been telling him, hey, you know, you got to get out of Portland. And Portland might be possibly looking at a possible, you know, look into, hey, you know what, let's test the waters and see if they're willing to get rid of him and just, you know, move on because the money is going to be very expensive for them to get a kid, you know, and maybe LaMelo Ball to go up to Portland. Team up with the CJ McCollum, Hassan Whiteside might be a fit, but the one that I've been hearing as kind of more likely than anything is the Philadelphia 76ers. Philly is already made moves with the coaching situation today with Brett Brown, and of course Elton Brand even said it earlier today. There's more moves coming as well. There can be more players, and of course in the front office. But Philly seems like they might want to move Ben Simmons because I keep hearing that they would prefer Melo to go to Philadelphia instead of going to Minnesota. Why? Market size. Philly is a top 5 market in the country. It is very close. They got a guy like Joel Embiid, which they can pair up with LaMelo Ball, the other guys around that squad as well. So it seems like that could be a noise that they are possibly looking forward to because they know right now, talking to them, they know that there's no dates, there's no city that they have locked down right now. And they're just as excited as everybody else is to just find out where he can go. But they do like a situation of seeing him in a Philly jersey this upcoming season.
Yep, I would also love to see him in New York, but he's not going to fall that far. The Knicks eighth, in the draft lottery.
Poor Knicks.
A few notes: Philadelphia. There are a lot of reports that Philadelphia are not going to look the same next season after the first time ever they got swept to the Celtics in the series between the Celtics and 76ers. I did see a report the other day you spoke about Portland that Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum both, I believe their contracts end at a similar time. They will make a decision together when their contracts, I believe it's not for another few seasons. If their contracts were to end, I mean, if they're traded, it's a different story. But if their contracts were to end, I saw they're very close. They would make a decision together if they want to go for the championship run. Also, in your article, I want you to touch on this as well, reading it. LaMelo Ball's mindset. We've seen since Jermaine Jackson has taken over since coaching him in high school. His mindset has shifted. It's trained very well to him being a Hall of Famer. He gets up very early to work out at the gym, run on the beach, and he takes his eating and nutrition very seriously. So can you speak a little bit on that, on LaMelo Ball's mindset heading into the NBA?
Yeah, so, you know, when I got that quote from them and I was able to talk to his manager, Jermaine Jackson, he mentioned to me, he's like, Fredo, he's like, you tell me another kid, whether it's this year, the previous years in the past, tell me one kid that, you know, has the potential like LaMelo Ball and his skill set that is just thinking, not just thinking about getting to the NBA, getting in the league, earning all the money, enjoying everything that comes with being an NBA player. But he's like, the only thing on his mind right now, he's like, he can care less about which pick he goes, but he just wants to leave a legacy behind. He wants to become a Hall of Famer because he knows that at the end of the day, if you set your goal to become a Hall of Famer, you're gonna reach. You're most likely gonna reach it, but you're gonna be able to get closer to it than just kind of saying, hey, you know what, I just want to make it to the league, and then once I make it to the league, let me see what happens, you know, or I just want to become an all-star. Some people just have that type of mentality, like, hey, you know what, I just want to be a good all-star player, maybe, you know, 19 points per game. And, you know, I don't care about winning the championship. I just care about winning and making money. But his mentality at the age of 19, you know, and happy late birthday to Melo, who just turned 20 the other day, you know, having that mentality right now, especially everything that he's gone through. You know, a lot of people who have followed LaMelo Ball, they got to see what he really went through, you know, the change, you know, and a lot of it has to do a lot of people criticize LeVar Ball for everything he did to him, you know, moving him from high school, putting him in homeschool, taking him to Lithuania, bringing him back to the JBA here in Los Angeles, and then back to the JBA USA. And from JBA USA, he decided, you know what, Dad, I want to go to high school. He went to high school in Geneva, Ohio, which was where Jermaine Jackson was currently coaching at, and finished his senior year. Did not get allowed. NCAA blocked him from, you know, going to school because they said here we have professional experience, which, you know, I guess, you know, because we know if he would have gone to the NCAA, he would have had this past year, and, you know, there would have been no tournament. But he decided to go to Australia, go to the NBL, dominated out there, won the Rookie of the Year, broke records. He broke NBL records, television records, TV rating records, attendance records, points. Like, I mean, he just did it all for this organization in the Illawarra Hots. And this kid, man, I just know his mentality is going to go a long way. It's going to go very long. And a lot of it, man, give it credit. Jermaine Jackson for doing all of the best, but as well, LeVar Ball. LeVar Ball did a lot of great training for the first 16 years, and then, you know, passing on the baton to Jermaine Jackson to finish out the job for him.
Guys, we will see where LaMelo Ball lands come the draft is October 16th. That's where it's currently scheduled.
No. There was breaking news today. Did you guys not hear that? I was upset. The NBA actually postponed the date of October 16th. So now they're pushing it back because they were projecting it to be October 16th being the draft, and October 18th being the opening day of free agency, and then December 1st being the opening of the 2021 season. But they're actually pushing everything back. So I just saw, actually, I think it was Adrian Wojnarowski this morning who tweeted that, and I saw that they pushed the draft back, so they can't make.
Yeah, reportedly looking to delay it. I guess it was made official. We'll see whenever the NBA draft happens. Minnesota, the first pick, when LaMelo Ball gets off the board. Fredo, thanks for all the information. Guys, we have to move on to our shout-outs because we do this at the end of every show. And we're going to let our guests, I think, go first. So,
Me.
Yes, Dustin, the shout-out floor is up to you.
Oh, fun. I have a shout out, and I don't think you guys have touched on it yet. I want to shout out Carlos Carrasco, the starting pitcher for the Indians. He was diagnosed with leukemia in 2019, and for him to come all the way back, be cancer-free, and now is pitching for the Cleveland Indians even in these weird times of coronavirus and traveling in the MLB. For him to, you know, be able to pitch for the Indians, start regularly. I think his ERA is around 4, so it's not as dominant as he used to be. But I just want to shout out Carlos Carrasco because, you know, it's a very, very long journey. And also one quick thing, Donovan Mitchell as well. I feel like he's handled this Black Lives Matter movement just, you know, as well as you can. So that's it.
All righty, Fredo, over to you. Your shout-out.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm going to continue with what I was going right now. Shouting out the one person who helped this kid with, you know, where he's at today. I mean, I want to shout out LaMelo Ball's manager, Jermaine Jackson, for what he's done since he kind of got together with LaMelo Ball back in November of 2018. So it's been almost 2 years since they connected back in Geneva, Ohio. And, you know, just shout out to him for, you know, helping him develop, because I've been following LaMelo's career for almost 5 years, and just seeing his development from the time he got with Jermaine till today. I mean, there's been a major improvement. And a lot of it, like you mentioned earlier, Dylan, just the nutrition, the mentality that he has, it's just very different. And, thank God that, LaMelo Ball and Jermaine Jackson found each other in this situation. But I just want to shout him out for, pushing this kid to the next level and making him the #1 overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft.
Guys, my shout out, I guess, this week or this show is going to go to Paul George. And I think I
you know what, guys? Hey, hello? Oh,
no.
Yeah. Wait. Hey, they're looking for Paul George. They said he just showed up to Orlando. Where is he at? You know where he's at?
The search team was out for Paul George after.
Yeah, they're actually on the phone with me telling me want to know where Paul George is at.
Through games 2 and 4, but I mean, he probably did not see my article. But I wrote an article today, and one of my keys for.
No, he just, hey, Dilly, he just told me he didn't get a chance to read it. He was stuck. He said he was stuck in the tunnel.
Wait, hold on, let me finish.
All right, Pandemic Paul. I'll talk to you later. Okay, Pandemic.
Paul George, my thought is going to him, and I'll tell you why. Games 2 through 4, he struggled mightily offensively from the floor. The Clippers lost in a heartbreaking fashion with the Doncic shot in Game 4. Paul George, I wrote in my article that he was, besides their defense, he was their key offensively because he had been struggling from the floor. He showed up in Game 5 when they needed it in a pivotal moment in the series that Dallas could have continued momentum into Game 5, and the Clippers could have been on the brink of elimination. Remember, the Clippers 4 first-round series losses as a franchise in the past 5 years. I understand they made a lot of moves this offseason.
I mean, I give him credit for that. I mean, he
35 points today for Paul George when the Clippers needed him in a pivotal game. So shout out to Paul George and the Clippers for a big Game 5 win, and a quick shout out to LeBron James. Again, I apologize. Guys,
you better.
Yeah.
You better.
I will
Paul George will be there in the finals.
I am not picking against LeBron James. That was
just imagine that thought. Imagine Paul George in the finals scoring at 9 points, 7 points, 7
No, he'll be ready. He'll be ready for the
hopefully
finals. Him and Kawhi.
playoff will go upwards. Yes, guys, we do have to wrap this up. A lot more of NBA action coming your way, especially in the Western Conference. They are still deep in the first round in a lot of series. The Lakers and Blazers for LA fans,
because the East is weak.
Play Game 5. Dustin said it. Play Game 5 tomorrow night. The Lakers look to wrap up the series. The Clippers won tonight against the Mavericks, so they are now 3-2. Like I said earlier, the Nuggets beat the Jazz, but the Jazz still have 3-2 advantage in that series. I believe the Rockets and Thunder are tied at 2.
Yes, they
if
are.
I'm not mistaken, on the Eastern Conference, I'm trying to memorize. There's a lot going on. The Celtics moved on. They swept the 76ers. The Raptors swept the Nets. What other series am I missing? I should be more prepared. Miami swept the Pacers. So 3 sweeps.
That's who's going to the finals.
In the first
too,
round in the Eastern Conference, and I'm missing.
Wait, what? What did you? Hey, Dustin, what are you saying now? Who's going to the finals?
3-1 over the
I
Magic.
said it on the show. I said it on our show.
I want to say, the Bucks up 3-1 over the Magic as well. So that's where the playoffs stand right now. The Raptors and the Celtics go at it tomorrow night in the second round of NBA action. It's going to be a great game, guys. We do have to, I feel like I just spewed a lot for the fans. We do have to wrap things up, guys. Fredo and Dustin, thanks for joining me. And Shireen was missing this time, but we will see her next time. She's the reason that all of this happens, guys. Go ahead and follow us on social media at In the Front Row LA. Fredo, I know, has been writing articles, and I wrote one today and before the Lakers and Blazers series. So go ahead and check out all of our articles. I know Kelsey's been writing a few as well. So go ahead and check out all our articles on the In the Front Row website. Fredo was about to post one, he said earlier in the show, about the Clippers and the Mavericks. So guys, subscribe to our YouTube right now. Hit that notification bell, and we will see you next time.
You wanna find me, Joe? I'm in the front row. My 2 tickets on me, I'm in the front row. The best place to be, I'm in the front row. So what's colder than ice and even hotter than a flame? I'll be in the front row, chilling out.